up?
You look like you're a very technologically oriented person.
I did my capstone.
Why, you need help with something?
No, but you've got your
ancient
headset on.
Oh, wow.
What is that, a unicycle?
So, like,
Very good. One wheel, you got it. First guess.
if I were to do a master's, I could see myself either going to seminary.
We are trying to let people know that there's a religion department at UF that can help people.
How do you see the religion department?
Oh, so the religion scholars in here?
Do you think the religion department?
Oh, you're the religious scholar.
Yeah, exactly.
Valid.
So we're just trying to let people know that it's not just, they don't just have to talk to churches presenting their information, right? We try to present neutral information
Neutral information?
about religious traditions, about what, about being spiritual outside of religion, about
studying
religion
in
and
particular
religion and
Christian
transhumanism,
apologetics and antiquity.
medicine, etc.
How can it be neutral if you can define anything you want to in the Bible? If you can interpret anything you want to any way you want to?
What we look at is how has that passage been interpreted historically, for example.
Right, so it's not neutral, it's just a different way of looking at it. Perhaps in other people, not neutral or...
Well, we're trying to look at it from the perspective of not outside of believers. Like religion scholars maybe believe back to religion. So right now, actually, of course,
we're covered in illusion.
the Orthodox Church
when we
is
get
being
into
used by both Ukrainians and Russians to kind of support their positions in this
The
war.
only thing that doesn't end is the thing that's
So
like.
I don't know, yeah, we have a religion violence class.
You know, in
that's pretty
Buddhism,
interesting, but I actually have to run in a few minutes.
Everything
It's really nice to meet you, Ted. I hope you'll...
I'll send you that picture.
Yeah, send me your picture with
Is there email on there?
Yeah, my email.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. We do appreciate your viewpoints. And
I'm a very rare bird because I care about the truth, and not many people know how to get that.
their volume is going out of
A lot of people do care about the truth.
Well, they do care about the truth, but their idea of what the truth is misunderstood.
There is this permanent reality that is
I don't know if
forever.
it's
But
misunderstood.
it's
I can
just
tell you
like
the definition of
the
truth,
one
and I'll
thing
tell you
in
that
us
will tell you why people have a problem
changes
with
our body,
Why?
changes
Truth is a degree to which a statement corresponds with reality. Right? People don't know that when they hear a statement, they need to show that it corresponds with reality, and that's the problem.
Like the physical world or the
Reality, that which can be directly perceived or indirectly ascertained by the proper use of reason.
there are many statements, though, that underlie our society that can't necessarily be. They're not falsifiable. You've got Karl Popper, they're not falsifiable.
Yeah.
We still depend on them.
Well, to a degree, we do have a certain level of epistemology we need to accept, of course.
we have morality, we have politics, we have philosophy.
Well, I think morality can be influenced by, can be discovered in a scientific fashion some way.
Yeah, where do you want them?
Get objectively, like there's nothing out there just saying this is good or this is bad. Nothing objectively in nature is saying that.
Well, you want to live as long as possible as carefree, with freedom. You have to extend these rights to other people so you can live in society, right? It's just common sense. It's common sense, and it improves over time.
It may seem common sense to you, but this was influenced by the ideas of liberalism and stuff like that. So it was influenced by like the idea of democracy, the idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity, like the liberals of like the American Revolution, the French Revolution, how that came about. Before that, we had feudalism and stuff, where these ideas weren't as common. So what's common sense is really influenced by it's influenced by culture.
Okay?
Yeah. So
Right, culture, us, right.
yeah. So
And how we live and how we improve ourselves. Because we're always improving.
common sense is not like something inherent to us.
Right, it develops over time, right.
So maybe what's common sense maybe some of it can't even be proven to be right or wrong. But maybe some of it's wrong. Maybe some of it's right. Who knows? It's just we're stuck. It's just when you use the word common sense, like it seems very ahistorical. Like
All right, man.
We're still trying to figure out my third grade.
everything has a historical basis to it. It's not just calm. It's not just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, we were talking you up. So, SeatGeek working with Dr. Lopez. Yeah, I hope to see you maybe next time.
I mean, next time you do this, I appreciated the email that you sent.
It was like,
Okay. Look out for me.
And then the other one was like improves readability and like usability. That was really cool that you stopped by. Like, yeah, thank you for that.
So be sure to send out another Dr. Brother.
I want t-shirts.
Just trying to read your sign.
We're having a fashion show.
Oh, yeah, okay. Ah, you're back. Trying to bribe us with more donuts.
Ask the question. Bring it on.
I already asked him all the questions. He got obliterated.
Lots more questions. Come on. What time is it? It's time for you to learn something new.
Oh, really? All right, I'll give you the question. What is a god?
What is a
Yeah.
That's the same question you asked.
Yeah, well, she wanted to know, and you couldn't answer it, so
Oh. What is a god?
yeah.
Well, when Deb Webster probably would say something that you worship that you feel is stronger than yourself.
Okay, the word stronger is relative, so if I wanted to know, go off Webster, I would be satisfied with that. But obviously, that's not good enough.
Well, our God's different than other gods.
You're what?
Our God is different, much more different. Creator God.
That doesn't mean anything to me. What
Oh
to say?
well, okay. So what would you want to hear that would convince you God exists?
What is it? Because you can't say something exists without knowing what it is, right?
Well, how about this?
Uh-huh.
How about this?
Yeah.
There's a tree up there.
No, we're talking about a god, not trees. No, I don't need an analogy. I want to know what a god is.
A god is an intelligence that is able to create that tree.
Okay. Okay. So you're defining something by what you think it's done, not by what it is. I don't care what you think it's done or what it can do. I want to know what it is. So just saying intelligence, a squirrel has intelligence. So
To create a tree.
it doesn't matter what it can create. We need to know what it is. What's it made of, where it lives, how do we know it exists, the evidence that supports it.
Okay, so you would like to know in three-dimensional time.
I would like,
Definition of
the same way we know anything else exists, God is not excluded from that requirement. When you say a God exists, you must show how we know it exists, just like we would anything else.
Now I forgot my question.
Does your mom love you?
Come on, man. If you can't answer the question, then just say
No,
so.
I'm just asking. I'm asking.
No reason to ask me these leading questions. I'm the skeptic. I ask the questions.
You're called no.
That's right, because I'm the skeptic. See, the burden of proof is always on the person with the positive assertion. Always. Always.
Who said? Okay, well,
It says logic. Logic.
Where do you want to end up with that question?
What's that?
Where do you want to end end up with your line of questioning.
Okay, I think I figured
Well,
out.
the answer to my question would be great.
What if Jesus did come down to earth?
Receive some new information I've never heard before, apparently.
Okay, and how will it change your life?
How will it change my life? What's the purpose? Because people want to know the answer to these questions. When you say something exists, you must show what it is and how you know it exists. Right? This is requirement for anything we say exists. You can't just say something exists and then just give some ambiguous, vague words in response to try to define it.
Something got us here. Something
What's that?
Something made this world, and what you're standing on.
Well, all that can mean is that we don't know much about quantum mechanics as well as we should, or something like that, or planets came here from an exploding star, right? There's a lot of things that we don't know about how things came to be, but we can't jump ahead and because we don't know how it came here, we can't say that a God did it because we don't even know what a God is.
You know, he needs you. He needs you, Ross. Would you believe an astrophysicist? He'll tell you
Have you
what
listened
we
to
do know.
Hugh Ross at all?
What's that?
Hugh Ross? Reasons to
Astrophysicist.
believe.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
He'll tell you what we do know because we've learned an awful lot
Okay.
in the last 20 years.
Yeah, but we're still without a definition of a God or evidence that one
Well,
exists.
he's probably got one.
I
He's
doubt it.
coming from
No,
Christian
he'd probably be
point of view.
famous by now if he had good definition and evidence of support.
So yeah, you
Your
don't.
whole eternity doesn't rest on that one question.
What is eternity? Do you know anything that's eternal? No, you don't. So no, that's the very thing in question. So you can't say there's an eternal existence without knowing anything that's eternal, right? You're just making stuff up at this point.
I'm believing something that the
You're
God
believing something
I
without
believe
reason,
in
which
God.
makes it an
No,
irrational
it's
belief.
very reasonable to believe
It
God.
is irrational to believe in a God because you don't know what it is and you have no evidence for one.
It's irrational to think that we just
It doesn't matter what you think. It's reasonable to say I don't know. It's not irrational to not know.
Well,
It's reasonable to say I don't know because that's being honest.
I'm glad you think so.
It is. It is. But when you go ahead and you add stuff on top, saying, "Oh, God did it," sprinkle this God stuff on top, and you have no way to show that's true, that is being irrational. Nothing shows it's true. Nothing.
Be honest and try to listen.
Well,
to
wait a
Hugh
minute.
Ross.
Listen to what?
Wait a minute.
You can't even give me a definition.
You're saying that nothing shows that there's God.
No good
So-
scientific evidence. That's correct.
No good scientific evidence.
That's correct.
So
It's nothing but
what?
science.
No, well, good luck with this one, then.
So when it comes down to when it comes down to looking at what's coming up with Easter and the resurrection of the dead, Jesus.
Why are we talking about Jesus?
Well, because he made the claim to be God.
Well, we don't know that Jesus said anything, right? As far as we know, everything that's written about him was made up, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, the burden of proof is on you.
No,
to
the
show
burden of proof is
that-
still on you because there's nothing contemporary written during Jesus' supposed lifetime that ever shows he was even real person.
There were things written
Not during his
by
lifetime.
people,
After the fact.
by people that knew him
No, after the fact.
after the fact. But does that mean?
This is Hugh.
Wait a
Let me
minute.
just
Wait a
show
minute.
you
Wait a
Ross.
minute.
Okay.
Everything is written after the fact.
No,
Everything is
no.
written.
We don't have anything written during his lifetime that shows he was an actual
So
person.
that's your friend.
And even if we did, even if Jesus was shown to be a real person, all we have is that he was a person, not that he was more than a person.
Well, we have the sayings.
What's that?
We have what is written that he said.
Doesn't matter what he said, it's not going to show us that he was a God or that God exists. Even if you could show that Jesus was real.
So,
Have you examined all his claims?
What's that?
Have you examined all of his claims?
What claims could show? What claims can show that there was a God and that he was more than a person?
Resurrection would be one.
Okay. Do you know of anyone who resurrected?
Have you read
Do you know of
about
anyone who's
them?
ever been? Do you know of anyone? Do you think? How do you know resurrection's possible?
We've got 500 witnesses.
No, you don't have any witnesses. You have it written in the Bible. That's all you have.
That's
The
not
Bible is
God's
written by a bunch of
opinion.
unknown authors,
Well, the people-
edited over time.
You know what? Everybody in this university is reading something written to get their
Yes,
knowledge.
yes,
And
yes,
they
but
don't know.
that's
They
not
didn't-
going to
they
help
weren't
your
there.
argument.
They weren't
That's not going to
there.
help your argument.
No, I'm
But
saying if
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
believe
I
anything
don't-
that's written,
you-
we
That-
can't.
that's not
what
gonna
you're
help your
saying
argument.
is not true.
What's that?
That it's been messed up over time.
It's been edited over time. Yeah, the Bible has been edited, Constantine and stuff like that. It's been edited over time. We don't even know who the authors were. And it was written well after Jesus supposedly existed. So just like if you start a rumor, in a school in the morning, by the afternoon it's going to be much different, right?
Okay.
And that's just one day.
Okay, so you have not, it's obviously that you have not studied
I haven't.
manuscripts that are out there.
Oh, you don't think I have? Okay. Why not?
So you're
Because I don't agree
saying,
with you?
You're saying that all the manuscripts are different because they've all been changed.
In the Bible?
Yeah, all the
What about-
manuscripts, all the ancient manuscripts that we have.
People decided what to put in the Bible, what to put in it, what to take out of it. I think that's what
Really?
people did.
Really?
It-
I don't think that's true.
okay, then what evidence do you have that God,
Well,
that
no,
there's
let's
any
just-
God that told people what to write in there?
You're changing the subject.
Okay.
I want to stick with it.
Okay.
You said that you said that the Bible's been done by what we would call
Unknown
the
authors.
telegraph.
Unknown authors.
Okay.
Right.
So, how come when we take the thousands of manuscripts that
Thousands.
yeah,
Thousands. Does that help your argument?
the thousands of manuscripts,
Okay.
if it had been written by the telegraph method, everybody changes as we go, and you compare them all together, what would you get?
Okay.
What would you get? Would you
No, I'm
get-
waiting for you to tell me. I'm waiting for you to tell me. I'm not going to answer your question for you.
According to the way you're thinking,
Okay.
you would get many, and you get very divergent
Okay.
versions.
Okay. How does that help us know that there's a God or Jesus was a real person?
No.
Because that's what I
Okay.
care about.
Well, I'm trying to show you that
Yes.
that the Bible is a more reliable source than you think.
Oh, because it has sticks turning into snakes, people walking on water. I don't think it's that reliable with stories like that in it. It condones slavery? Come on, man.
I wouldn't say it condones slavery.
Oh, it does. Exodus 21.
But anyway, you're basically saying because something condones slavery, then it cannot be historical.
I didn't say that. I just said
No,
it's more of a book not to be
You're-
not to be given full serious attention to. That's all.
Okay, but it's not a book. How many books?
It's a
is it?
collection of books put together by people arbitrarily by how they decide they want to put it together. No reason to think any God had anything to do with it at all, because we don't even know what a God is. So why would we think that a God did it? If we know people can write books and it's a book, then people wrote it, right? That's all we have on it. So all we know is a bunch of people wrote a book, and that's it. No reason to think that it was inspired by any God, anything of that nature.
So, if we just take the Bible for what it says.
Well, it says a lot of things that can be interpreted differently, but go ahead.
Well, about God, the things that are pretty straightforward. about
Well,
God. Number one, that He created all that we have.
okay,
Okay.
that's baseless, but go ahead.
Anyway, how do you think all of this got here?
Well, I don't have to know. All I have to do is show that you don't have an answer for it. I could say I don't know, which is actually the honest way of being about this. We don't know how everything came to be. You know, quantum mechanics, our understanding of it is in its infancy, right? So there are a lot of things we don't know. So to
one
say
thing-
I don't know.
How about second law of thermodynamics?
What about
Familiar
it?
with that?
Yes. What about it?
What does it say?
Well, we aren't. How is that going to pertain to the question?
Because maybe a little further.
I know what it is, but how does that pertain to the question?
Explaining a lot of
Okay.
different things, why God did things.
Because we're not in a closed system here. We're not in a closed system. So
Yeah, I'm just saying.
There's a lot of debate.
we're not in a closed system.
This had to come about from something.
Right, but we're not in a closed system, so it doesn't apply. That's the second law of thermodynamics relies on a closed system. We're receiving energy from the sun. So
No, I'm talking about the whole universe.
okay, well you can't call the whole universe a closed system because it has to have a system to exist in to be a closed system.
Well, the point is,
Okay.
we know that all the stars are going to run down.
Well, no, because stars are birthed all the time,
Well,
quite often. They explode. They come back. They born anew. It happens all the time.
but the
Stars aren't done being made. They're constantly being made again.
But you understand that the second law
Yes,
basically
but-
says that everything comes to an
Yeah,
equilibrium.
yeah, or in a closed system. We're not in a closed system. It doesn't apply.
Which I mean, all of us are.
And how is that going to help you? How is that going to help you substantiate the assertion of a God? How is that going to help you in this least bit? Because all you're going to say is, well, if you don't know, then maybe God did it. Like, that's all you're going to say, right? That's going to be your argument.
It had to happen.
Okay, it had to happen some way, but we can't say it was your God that did it, because we didn't even know what that is. So we have to stay with, I don't know. That's the most honest, most reasonable position to take. I don't know. That's no, that's honest for everyone, because you don't know either. So you should be saying, I don't know either. If you knew, you'd be able to show that what you're saying is correct, but you can't. So you can't say you know, can you?
Yes, I can.
No, well then you'll be expressing an irrational belief. Is what you'll be doing. Well, if it was rational, you'd be able to substantiate it.
Yes.
Well, I was here before and I asked you, and you failed to do that. So,
okay, I'll substantiate it.
Okay, you got a new answer. This is good. This is gonna be different then, right? All right, go ahead.
There's three things that I will substantiate. Yeah, that's cool. The Jewish nation.
What?
The Jewish nation exists because of God.
What? How?
Because that's what they're founded on.
Because that's a what?
That's what they're founded on.
They're founded on an irrational belief in a God, therefore a God exists? How does that make sense?
Well, it's irrational to you because you've never experienced it. All right.
Oh, so I need to experience
I'll force some of these people to get out.
an imaginary friend in order to think it's real?
Because you haven't experienced it.
Okay, tell us all how to experience a God, how to know there's a God. Huh?
The same way I did.
Okay, how is that? Mushrooms? What?
I asked for forgiveness for my sin.
You ask for forgiveness. I don't believe in sin because I don't believe in a God. So how can I communicate to God if I don't even know one exists?
Okay.
How can I communicate with one if I don't know one exists?
So,
He tells you
there's
how.
also a point to
A point to what?
you do things that you don't know exist anyway.
Okay, how is that going to help your argument by questioning everything? You're going to question everything and say, well, since you don't know anything, then therefore my God could be real. Is that the way you're going to go about it?
No, I'm saying
Well, that seems to be the angle.
you use faith. You use faith in other things.
I don't use faith. I don't have faith. I have reason to believe things.
You got faith right there. That's faith.
I have reason to believe that this will work, and I know how it works. No faith. Faith is without reason. That's what faith is. When you believe in a God, you say it's faith. It's without reason. Because if you had reason to believe in a God, you would need to use the word faith.
Okay, so if you let me finish.
Sure. Go ahead. Let's hear about this.
When I ask forgiveness for my sin, just let me finish, okay? When I ask forgiveness for my sin from Jesus Christ into God, it changed me.
Okay. Well, a lot of things can change you. You know, doing drugs can change you. You know, doing a lot of things can change you. That doesn't mean that. You know, that's like you saying, "Well, I asked Tinkerbell for to forgive me for my sins. Therefore, Tinkerbell is real." I mean, you can insert any imaginary friend in there because you're not actually showing that thing exists. You're just saying, "Well, my life changed. Therefore, the thing I was concentrating on must be real." No, that's not the way it works.
Oh, really?
No, sir. That's not reasonable.
The Bible claims,
It doesn't matter what the Bible claims. What matters is what you can show to be true. That's what matters.
but he's asking you to prove. It says, test me and see if I'm,
okay.
how's it goes, taste and see.
Right, yeah, how nice of it to try to deflect its burden of proof. It still has a burden of proof. Anyone who asserts it's true has a burden of proof. It's not up to the skeptic to have the burden of proof. That's not logical.
So if it was proved to you, then you would.
I love reality. I love what exists. If something can show to be true, I will believe in it because there'll be evidence showing it's true. I like to know what it is and how it shows to exist. If these things can be met, I will believe in it because I live in reality.
Okay, well, the challenge has been on you.
What?
You're making up.
Yeah, that damn pesky logic. That damn pesky logic is just made up. You know? Well, it is, but it works.
Okay, let me ask you this.
They're going to be tired of me.
And I don't mean to get into a political thing, but there's this interesting concept that if I were to tell you that I was a woman, I believe that I'm a woman.
It's stupid.
Even though
It's stupid.
you would stay.
I'm a moderate. I'm not left and I'm not right. I take from both.
Okay,
I take from both.
Then let me shake you.
Yes, fist bump. There you go. Yeah, I hate the damn liberals going around here trying to say, "Oh, you're a woman if you say you're a woman." No, if you were developed a certain way, that's what you are.
Into a big thing, but I'm just
Yeah.
trying to follow your
That's
logic.
okay. Oh, my logic is rock solid.
Okay, but
I'm pro-gun. I'm against religion. I'm for Medicare for all. You know, I'm against the whole pronoun crap. You know, I'm for prostitution. You know, I mean, I take from both sides.
okay,
I don't
but
know.
I would challenge you to this.
Moderate.
And I know it doesn't follow as closely as you would like to the what is God thing. But with the scriptures, I want you.
I thought we're done. I probably already done. But go ahead.
I want you to look back at this telegraph idea that people wrote things and then they got copied, got all versions, and then they come.
And people put them together and they made a match.
I haven't necessarily.
I mean, how was the New Testament?
but
The New Testament was written by looking at the Old Testament, right?
I want you to historically understand that that's not true.
Wow.
Because these Bibles went out in different places.
Even if I did that, we're still left with the question with what is a God and how we know one exists. So I'm not going to care.
Well, I think it's important.
How is it important to my
you-
question?
That you not
I know.
propagate lies.
I think maybe your own argument for why we should have this imaginary friend is so weak that you need to rely on these kind of tactics to try to show that it exists, and therefore you're trying to say, well, you should educate Schmo so you can understand this is wrong because you have nothing else to fall on. You can't actually give me a definition or any scientific evidence. You got to give these weird little arguments about scripture and this guy's got to tell me about talking to himself.
Well, you know, the scripture basically.
It's not important. It's not important.
We believe that it's important where you eternally end up.
There's no reason to believe in anything eternal for us. We have good reason to believe that once we die, we're dead. Because we have reason to believe that our brains are responsible for unconsciousness. So it doesn't matter how many people don't believe. It doesn't matter. What matters is what can be shown to be true. Unless you can show that afterlife is possible, then there's no reason to give it any serious consideration because the burden of proof is on the person with a positive assertion. So if you're going to say that there's life after death, you need to show that there's life after death. If you can't do that, it's no one's come back. No one's come back.
I talked to a lady at the ministry who died in 84.
But big deal. She didn't die. She didn't die if she came back, did she? Nope. It doesn't matter if she didn't have a heartbeat or anything. She was still alive. The brain stays alive for a little while. You can bring somebody back. It's not impossible.
How long does someone have to be dead for you to think they're dead?
Huh?
You just
Has
said
to be
that.
zero
How
brain
long?
activity. Zero brain activity.
How long?
For whatever, how long it takes.
Well, I'm asking, how long is it for you?
No, I have to
before
Google
you
how long it
think
would
they're
take. But
dead?
people have died. And it depends on how you're defining death.
Yeah.
Right.
If a doctor defined it, how long do you say? she
Well,
has
a lot
to
of
be
people
dead?
say, if you don't have a pulse and they can't get it back, and things of that nature, they'll try to say you're dead at that point. When in actuality, you can actually
So
bring
you
someone
just
back.
will not believe anybody who's ever said they were dead like that.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's like all you're saying is my heart stopped for this amount of time. That's all you're saying. You're saying dead as a big, huge word to an emotional response, like, oh, yeah, we're dead.
Long enough to be dead.
Well, it has nothing to do with it. It doesn't show. See, all that shows you is that when people have NDEs, is their brains go out of the way to make them feel comfortable by giving them visions and dreams because it calms them. So people come back with these stories, but this is your brain working to calm you in order to make it. No, there's nothing to show otherwise. We know the brain can do that. We know the brain gives you dreams and lots of so we know it's capable of doing that. Until you can show that it's more than that, that's where we're at.
If you look, there's a guy that did over 300 studies of people that left their body and
Nobody. Okay. Where's the science on that? There's no science on it. There's no science on it.
We won't get past that. We can't go anywhere.
I'm going down to the manuscripts because if the manuscripts, if we view them as historical documents, which they are, they're the best historical documents from that era that we have.
and they were not done by the telegraph method.
Well, they're written by people, right?
They were
Right?
written by people, they
Right.
were copied by people,
Right.
and so how come they're all the same?
Doesn't matter. That just means people made them the same and put them in together.
No, no,
They're supposed to make them
Why not?
the same.
no, they can't.
Why couldn't they? They put it together in a book, didn't they?
No, listen. They put it into small books, which eventually got put into a bigger book,
Right.
and those got copied and they got dispersed all over Europe and Africa.
Okay.
Okay, and then we dig them up, and according to your theory, they should all be different.
No,
Why-
not always. People could communicate and make things. How is that going to help you at all in your argument?
No, I'm just asking you to see.
See what?
And
How is that going to help at all?
And study scientifically and archaeology and what you
I don't care for that. I don't really care for that. I don't care for that.
Then if you don't want to study it, then you just believe me
Believe you what?
that the manuscripts came down to us as they were written
By people.
by people.
Right. Okay.
God uses people.
Just people.
And
Not any God.
How else is he going to get his message across?
he uses people.
Why would he use some outdated language that can be interpreted any which way to try to get a message to us?
No, you don't agree.
Please. It can be interpreted so many different ways.
Greek, you mean?
The word dog cannot be interpreted too
Okay.
many ways.
Well, we need a bunch of old manuscripts that can be interpreted any which way by and told us by people, by an all-powerful God that can use His power to show us He's real without that.
We saw last summer, we saw the original Isaiah
Okay.
scroll in the Assyrian.
Why should I think a God had anything to do with those writings? Why?
Because they're
Because
inspired.
it's inspired.
Why?
People to do it.
No. Why should I believe that that's true? Is my question to you.
Because prophecy is one reason.
I can predict someone's going to win the lottery on Saturday, and in the same book, I can say that Tinkerbell's real. If that person wins the lottery, does that mean Tinkerbell's real? Because my prophecy came true, right? And it's even better prophecy than what's in the Bible because that's an actual falsifiable one, unlike the ones in the Bible. Right? So tell me, if someone wins a lottery on Saturday and I name the person, they win it, does that mean Tinkerbell's real?
I'd like to see that happen.
I'm asking a question. Does that mean it's real? Does that mean Tinkerbell's real?
No, but it doesn't. But it doesn't mean. But it doesn't mean what you're trying to make it.
No, I'm saying you should not believe in Tinkerbell. Even if I predict someone's going to win the lottery, people should not believe in Tinkerbell. Same reason why, just because you have a wannabe prophecy in the Bible, doesn't mean that there is a God. Because the two have nothing to do with each other. Just like my prediction in the lottery and Tinkerbell have nothing to do with each other at all. Zero. That's why I made that analogy. Because it's irrational to believe that a God exists just because someone can make a prophecy. Nothing at all to do with each other. Even if they were real prophecies, that just means people time travel. Can you say that? And it would be just as crazy as believing in a God. In fact, probably a little less.
Oh, my name's Fran, and this is Elmer.
I'm Ted. I'm Ted.
Okay, you're Ted. We're going to be praying that some of these answers...
See, praying is just talking to yourself. You're not really doing it.
We're going to find out when we talk to you next, or our friend talks to you, we're going to find out what God's been doing in your life.
What's been doing in my life?
We're going to find out what God's been doing.
You can't even tell me what a God is. Why should I care about that?
Because I have my own definition, whether you believe
Okay.
in it
Well,
or
it's not a reasonable one.
Well,
And laughing when you try to answer the question is not going to make you seem more real.
So what if God resides out in the dark matter?
What?
God resides out in the dark matter.
Well, we don't even know what a God is, so I don't really care for it. I think.
Oh, please.
You don't want to read?
You're not serious. You might as well.
Made serious. I think I've been doing this probably as long as you, if not longer.
Not serious if you don't.
Not serious. I don't even know what that means. That's not serious. Pretty sure I'm pretty serious about what I'm saying.
So
You're serious that you want to know something.
I ask you questions you can't respond to.
I'm trying to give you a whole bunch
No,
of
but
answers.
shouldn't you know? Right here, God questions about God. So you just give everyone books, references to books instead of actually answering questions. Right here it says
How many
God questions about
professors
God.
do you have from me? You have a math professor who doesn't teach English and PE. You have an English professor who doesn't teach everything else in the world. Nobody knows everything.
Yeah, but you say you got answers about God. So that's what I did. I asked you questions about God. I didn't ask you questions about English or math.
We all have ears.
All I've been
I don't understand what's so funny.
And we're trying
I don't know why you're laughing. I find nothing funny. Nothing funny at all about it. I guess it's just a tactic of yours to try to respond to someone with a laugh at the end of your statement. I don't know.
It's not funny that
Okay.
you
All right.
won't be serious. I can't take you serious.
You can't take me seriously? I'm the one asking you questions, and you can't answer.
Seriously because you keep harping
Sorry,
on
I don't.
the
Did you have something else you wanted to add or no?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Again, I wanted to get to your question by talking about manuscripts. And manuscripts tell about Jesus rising from the dead.
Yeah, but they're all.
And if you don't want to,
I don't know of anyone who's risen from the dead. So why should I think that Jesus rose from the dead? Well, I don't know if it's even possible. So why should I believe that happened? I don't even know.
That's probably the reason.
Right, unless I can know that someone can be rise from the dead 3 days after they're dead, then why should I think Jesus did it?
Well, since if I follow your
I have nothing to go by.
Since there's never been a God shown to me, to you, meaning, since there's never been a God shown to you, how can you even believe that there's a God?
Right, because I don't even know what one is. You have, if you say there is one, you have to tell me what it is and how you know it is what it is, which is to provide scientific evidence. Unless you can do those two things, then I shouldn't believe in it. The same thing with the resurrection. I don't know of anyone that can be resurrected. So why should I think that some guy was resurrected when I don't even know it's even possible, even today, with science? 3 days.
Well, then that's the problem right there.
I'm not even hearing you.
That's the problem. When you say
that is a problem.
That it needs to be repeatable on my command.
Yeah, I need to because not my command, because I need to understand how something works in order to know what actually happened. That's the way the world works. If you want to say something happened, we have to understand how it happened, and then it's actually possible. If we don't think something's possible, then how can we ignorant? Then if we believe it happened, we'll be ignorant and gullible. Right? Just like to believe in a God is an expression. Believing in a God is an expression of ignorance and gullibility. Because you don't know what is. You don't know how. You have no definition, no evidence. You believe in it without good information, and you believe it. Just being ignorant and gullible.
So basically,
No, that's logic.
You don't.
How about this logic? You won't look at any things that are contrary to in depth, that are contrary to what you're thinking.
How do you know that? I've been doing this 20 years.
There's a book by a guy that died.
Yep, and no one knows the answer.
So you've wasted 20 years.
I wasted. I'm not the one who has imaginary friends. How am I wasting that? You see, I care about education and awareness. That's what I care about. And when I come here and I ask you these questions, I'm bringing education and awareness to the fact that you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Trying to refer people to books is not going to help you.
Are you alive?
No, my mind is very open. You're the one who's closed because you believe in an imaginary friend that you can't talk about. I ask you to talk about it, you can't talk about it. You can't tell me what it is and how you know it exists. But yet you believe it's true, therefore you're the one with the closed mind, not me. I'm the open mind waiting to receive information about what's said to exist.
Let me ask you this. Are you alive?
What are you getting at?
I think you'd say you're alive. Can science explain what life is?
Just make your point. I'm not going to go 20 questions with you.
Since science can't explain what life is, they can't explain what life is.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything?
And we don't believe that anything's alive.
Okay, so you're going to question all of reality, and therefore your God should fit in there because we don't know anything.
No, I'm just.
You're taking a epistemology route.
I'm just backing out of my whole thing, and I'm just.
Well,
I'm challenging.
If that was the position you take, then you wouldn't believe in a God, because you would know that you can't know about that either. So you're destroying your God belief as well.
But I'm putting you in the exact same place that you're putting me. You can't know that you're alive.
See, my position is I don't know. If I don't know something, I will say I don't know. That's fine. That's honest.
But what's going
But you're
on?
not saying that. You're saying you do know, but you can't show what you're saying is true.
Okay, so does logic really work?
Yep,
It's
logic
just,
works.
It's just random. It's just.
All right, so we shouldn't use logic.
Random.
So we shouldn't use logic. So we should just believe in everything. So it's okay to believe in Tinkerbell? Is it okay to believe in Tooth Fairy? Is that okay to believe in those things? Because by your logic, we can believe anything.
I don't want you fighting against me. I want you to fight against yourself.
That's not going to happen.
Because what? If you don't believe that there's something that gives you, that you somehow have consciousness.
Yeah, my brain is. We have reason to believe our brains are responsible for consciousness.
But At the end of the day, science says that our brains are just random.
We're understanding more and more about the brain all the time. I don't see how that's going to help you in your argument. You still need to show us what a God is and how we know one exists. But how does that help you with your argument? How does that help you at all?
How does it help me at all?
Yes.
Well, if God created us, and He created us in His image.
Well, a lot of ifs there. A lot of ifs there. Why should I care about ifs?
Well, what I'm saying is, because there's things that you can't tell me.
I don't have to. I'm not the one that's saying that tooth fairy is real.
Logic. You're saying that logic is what you built your life on.
Yeah, logic and reason, that's what I use.
And it's just...
That's what we should all be using.
Random molecules firing off in your brain. That's all.
Okay, I don't understand what you're getting at here. What's your point?
How can you trust them? How can I trust them?
How can we trust what you're saying?
I don't just forget what I'm saying.
Okay, so we shouldn't believe in a God. We shouldn't believe in God.
I'm just saying.
So God is BS. So we shouldn't believe in anything.
So how do we know what God is?
Logic and reason, scientific evidence, definition for what it is. That's how we go about it.
But
see, you're not going to win at this angle. You have to actually, have to discuss the topic. You can't try to attack knowledge and epistemology and hope you're going to get somewhere. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Why is it illogical that if something changes me, there's something real?
What?
Why is it illogical to you that if something changes somebody, that there's nothing real to it?
The interpretation of that experience can be such that you can give.
Well, at least there's something there.
You can give. You can define anything about what that is. You can say that a dandelion changed your experience. You can say that a song changed. You can say a song changed you, and therefore the song is great. You don't need to say. You can say the tooth fairy changed you. It doesn't mean the tooth fairy is real. All it means is you're incapable of giving. You're saying a belief changed you. In this instance, it was an irrational belief, but it changed you. That doesn't mean that the actual thing you believe in is real. That's a problem we run into here.
Why doesn't it make it real?
Because you need to actually tell us what it is and how it shows to exist.
I'm telling you what it is. It's belief in Jesus Christ and forgiveness of my sin and connecting with God.
That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't qualify to you.
Well, I can say that I had some mushrooms and it changed me. Does that mean that mushrooms are now God? Does that mean that I can say that anything changed me? Why does it mean that how does that show that Jesus or God actually exists? Just because you felt a change in your life? How does that mean?
Because it continues to change me. It continues.
How do you know it changed you? How do you know God or Jesus changed you? How do you know that?
Because it wasn't there before.
Okay, so could it just be your delusion?
No.
Oh, okay, so you couldn't be wrong.
No.
So it has to be a God in Jesus. You couldn't be wrong. You couldn't be delusional about it. You couldn't be wrong about it. You're correct about it. Even though you can't show it to be correct, you're saying you're correct about it.
You could be delusional about your.
I'm the skeptic who needs evidence of what you're saying is true.
Well, I'm telling you, my life has been the same.
Okay, well, your life can change for many reasons. Doesn't mean that what it changed for is actually real. Okay. If I say that my life changed because of Tinkerbell, do you believe in Tinkerbell?
No. Let me see your life.
Oh, well then what's the problem? It's the same logic you're using.
Because I don't see the evidence of your life change.
What is it? I can make up anything.
I'm not making it up.
What?
I'm not making it up. My life is.
How do you know I'm not? What does it matter whether it's made up or not? I said that I had an experience that Tinkerbell changed me. Therefore, Tinkerbell is real.
Show me the change.
What does showing the change have to matter? Why does the change matter?
I have evidence. That's the evidence.
Well, all you'd be doing is giving me a story, wouldn't it?
No.
I can give you a story too. I can give you a story too.
I used to do things that were illicit. I
Yep.
don't do them anymore.
You'll always find a lot of ex-drug users religious. You'll always find them. A lot of ex-drug users are religious because they give up one crutch for another. That doesn't mean that Jesus or God is real.
That's how you are logically approaching it, but it's prejudice.
How is it prejudice?
Because you're not accepting the change.
It doesn't matter what the change is. It doesn't mean what you're saying is change you. It's actually true. You actually have to show that it's true. You just can't say it changed you, therefore it's true.
God's listening. He brought you someone who died, and she's come back from the dead. Would you like to hear this?
Yeah, I'm sure that it's full of some brain activity.
No, this is no brain activity.
Yep, it is.
She got shot in the head.
Just don't do that, please.
I'm sorry. I wish you'd come over and listen. You know what?
I already see something. If someone's not grateful to the Lord, they're not going to be grateful.
Yeah, see, she's delusional. I can't have a conversation with her.
But I just explained. But I think that you made an extra comment.
You've made your logic
In my
God.
testimony.
And it's not just logic.
My logic is God? How does that make any sense?
You've made it God.
No, I don't believe in any God. How do you define God now? You define God some weird way.
You've made it
Is this unicycle God because I ride it all the time?
You've made your logic your God.
That makes no sense at all. No sense at all.
You've made something.
Congratulations on not making sense.
Well, I'm telling you.
Well, you're telling me a bunch of baloney.
By your evidence of what you're saying, you aspire to your adherence to logic as the truth and ultimate source of your.
How else do we have to obtain knowledge aside from science and scientific method?
Logic could be wrong.
Okay. It can only be replaced by better scientific evidence, by better logic.
To change life is a lot of stuff.
What's that?
If something changes
Yeah?
continually, I mean,
Doesn't mean that the thing you say change it is real.
well, what other evidence could
It's your belief in a set of values or rules that you live by that changed it.
No, it's not the belief in the values.
Mm-hmm.
You missed it. You missed it from the beginning.
No,
It's
I didn't miss
the
anything.
experience. It's Bible.
Right, your experience, right. But how you interpret that experience is fallacious.
Sorry?
You interpret that experience to have something to do with something you have no idea about.
It changed my life.
Okay? Tinkerbell changed my life, so Tinkerbell's real.
How did it Tinkerbell?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Because it's evidence.
But it's just a story. It's just my testimony.
No, it's not.
Testimonies are not evidence of something. If I gave you a story of my life changing and Tinkerbell changed it, that has nothing to do with the validity of your assertion that Tinkerbell is real at all.
Let's see if it's not a story and you can.
But it is a story. If I asked you how your Jesus and God changed you, you give me a story.
I give you actual facts.
No, you give me a story. Whether you want to call it actual facts or not, I can say the same thing for my story as well. It doesn't mean that what you're saying is true. It's still just a baloney explanation.
I have a family, raise children properly.
Okay, so and what did I do with that? So.
Okay, so there were things that I adhere to now.
Great.
I didn't adhere to.
Okay, great. But you don't need a God for that. You don't need an imaginary friend for that.
Okay, well, you have something in your life that changed you.
The Tinkerbell changed me. Yep.
Okay, what did
So
Tinkerbell
is Tinkerbell?
have to do?
What's that?
What did Tinkerbell have to do?
It doesn't matter.
Now you're escaping.
Tell me why it matters. Why does your story? How does your story help show that a God is real?
Because
Are you saying that you're incapable of changing yourself without a God?
I'm saying that God.
No. Are you saying you're incapable of changing yourself without a God?
That.
Are you capable of changing yourself without a God?
Don't yell at me. Okay, keep your voice to a conversation where you need to be.
Well, I can't help. I get a little perturbed that I ask you a question.
Yes, you can help it.
Well.
Yes, you can.
Well.
I can too.
Okay.
Now, if I'm giving you evidence of things in my life that changed from that experience, it doesn't mean that I can't change it myself.
Okay then. So since you can change it yourself, then there's no reason to think that a God did it. Because the simplest explanation is that you did it, not a God. The most natural explanation, the most reasonable explanation is you did it, not a God.
Well, that's from your outside.
Well, if you can't tell me what a God is and how you know one exists, then that has to be. You have to go with that.
God is a spirit.
We don't even know what a spirit is. We have no idea what a spirit is.
I know what a spirit is.
Well, the rest of the world doesn't. We have no scientific evidence for that.
That's not exactly true.
Well, it is true. Yeah.
There's some evidence for
No,
spirit.
there's no good scientific evidence for a spirit. We don't even know what it is.
There is evidence for it.
Yeah, nothing good.
It doesn't fit into your logic.
It's not about my logic. It's scientific evidence. There's no good scientific evidence.
Well,
no good definition.
Wait a minute. Where are you picking up the scientific process?
How about you go ahead and tell me the definition of spirit, and we'll go with that.
See if I can. I never thought of it.
Yeah. Well, you think you should have to. When you say things exist, you should know what they are, right?
some things won't fit into logical frame.
Well, then we shouldn't believe in it. Well, then it's an irrational believing, just like your God. We shouldn't believe in it. We shouldn't believe in spirits.
Okay, it might be illogical. It might.
Right.
It might be illogical.
Which is why we shouldn't believe anything that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't mean.
If it doesn't make sense, we shouldn't believe in it.
Don't raise your voice.
It's the way I talk, man.
Okay. I'm trying to give you some leeway here. Just because it's not logical doesn't mean it's irrational.
Yes, it does. That's a definition of irrational.
No.
That's a very definition of irrational. You just said it's not what it is. That just makes no sense.
Doesn't mean that it's irrational if it won't fit into logic.
Yes, it does. That's how we understand things, by using logic and reason, and scientific evidence and definition. This is how we understand things.
There's things in life that don't fit into logic.
Well, then we don't believe in those things. Like your God, we shouldn't believe in it because it doesn't fit.
You don't believe in gravity? You don't believe in...
No, gravity we understand.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, explain to me.
It's the working of time and space.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, is that all there is?
That's what it is, yeah.
Okay, time and space. What kind of explanation is that?
What kind of speculation is that?
What kind of explanation? Why can't you tell me exactly how gravity works? Because you
Generates
don't know.
What's that?
You don't know exactly how it's something in time and space. Tell me exactly how it works. What are the mechanics?
I know more about it than you do about your God.
Tell me.
Tell you what? I told you what it is. You have to go on Google and do some more search into it.
You told me two things about
Right.
that.
Right.
You didn't tell me the mechanics.
Okay.
Exactly how it works.
Okay.
How it's holding you on this oak.
Okay.
And you didn't tell me.
Do we know time and space exists? Okay, then. What do we know about your God that exists that you can say it's equal?
Okay. I tried to tell you three things.
Right.
Jewish nation.
Nothing. Not relevant.
Prophecy fulfilled.
Not relevant.
Oh, okay. Well, so you're not.
Right, because you're not saying anything that tells me what a God is and how we know it exists. You're not telling me anything. You're telling me stories.
I'm not telling you stories.
That's it. Why should I care what happens to the Jewish people? How does that have to do with the God?
Because it's evidence. And
No, it's not good evidence. It's evidence to you, but it's not good scientific evidence.
Okay, there's enough of this evidence that you're throwing out piece by piece.
That's because you have no argument. That's why I'm tearing it all up.
I have no logical
Exactly
argument
why
that
it's getting
fits
destroyed.
your
Exactly
criteria.
why it's getting destroyed, because you don't. And that's the important thing to realize. If you don't have that, you have nothing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, I don't. I have a changed life.
It
You
doesn't
don't have
matter.
it.
It doesn't
You
matter.
don't have a
It
changed
doesn't
life.
matter how
It
changed you
matters
think
to
your life
me.
is.
It matters to
Great.
me.
It can matter to you, great. But as far as the scientific community is concerned, they don't care. The rest of the scientific community does not care.
Well, that's not exactly true.
Well, it is true.
Now, psychologists care.
Yeah, well, you might be able to get some support from your therapist, but when it comes to trying to say something exists in reality, you're going to have a problem.
Maybe a problem with you, it doesn't have a problem with me.
Well, that's fine. You can have imaginary friends if you want to. I think it's wrong, but you can do it all you want.
Well, I think it's wrong for you to be
You think it's wrong for me to
locked up
question
in-
your imaginary friends?
I think it's wrong for your prejudice. You are prejudiced against...
Prejudice?
Let
Prejudice
me-
does not fit.
You
That word does not fit.
You gonna let me finish?
Well, don't use incorrect words, and I will.
All right. It's wrong for you to lock off some experiences because they don't fit into your criteria.
Into the question being asked. It is perfectly reasonable for me to dismiss them. That which can be dismissed, that which can be asserted without evidence, can be dismissed without evidence.
Well, you don't dismiss gravity.
What?
You don't dismiss other scientific things that can't be evidenced.
Okay. So that means we should question everything and anything goes? Does that mean I can believe in Tinkerbell? Does that mean you believe in Tinkerbell?
Look, you go
I mean, where are we going with this?
We're going with what's reasonable.
What's reasonable is not to believe in a God unless one chose to exist and you know what it is. That's reasonable. And atheism is the most reasonable position to have.
It's not reasonable for you to ignore.
Ignore what? Your
the
stories?
evidence,
You don't have evidence.
You're ignoring what's the word I'm trying
I'm ignoring your story that you think should be good. You think testimonies are evidence of a imaginary friend in the sky, and it's not.
It is.
Well, to you it could be, but the reasonable person, it's not. And I am a reasonable person.
And it's also, you ignore the prophecies.
Prophecies have nothing to do with a God.
You ignore the fact that the Jewish nation still exists.
There's nothing to do with a God. It doesn't tell me what a God is, or that shows that one exists.
It should open you. It's not there to show you one exists.
Then you shouldn't be talking about it, because that's what I care about. I care about what a God is and how one shows to exist. I don't care about your failed attempts.
It's there to open your mind.
No, it's there to fool me and to trick me, and it's there to affect the gullible, ignorant person. But I'm not those things.
So how am I? So
you are ignorant and gullible in at least this facet of your life. It could be spreading to other areas, but in this one,
wait a minute. You're starting to use the name thing. Now I didn't do that.
No. Those are descriptive words. They're not names. Those are descriptive words. Ignorance and gullibility are descriptive. They're not named. I'm not calling you stupid or anything like that. Those are actual descriptive words.
Like gullible.
Gullible and ignorant are descriptive words that describe your position.
Maybe it kicks back on you just more than it does me.
I really don't know what you're trying to say there.
Maybe you're gullible.
Well, if I was gullible, I would have imaginary friends like you.
Maybe you're gullible in how you're asserting things from.
Yeah, I should stop using logic and reason, right? I should just screw scientific evidence.
You should take it in stride and not make
Take what in stride? What does that even mean? Take it in stride. What is that?
Give it some credibility.
You don't think I've done that already? You think I've been doing this for a while? You think maybe I've done this for a while?
But you've given it too much credibility.
Oh no, maybe I'm so well educated on it that I know what I'm talking about.
Or maybe you think you know everything.
No, I don't know everything. But you seem to know more than me. You seem to think some God exists, and you have no evidence of it.
In one area, I do know more.
No, you don't. Not in this topic anyway. Maybe in other topics, but not this one. This one, you're completely off base. You're off left field. You have an imaginary friend in the sky. You can't tell me what it is.
Look. First off, you say it's imaginary.
Right, imaginary. Right.
So how do you know it's imaginary?
Because you have not shown it to be true. Therefore, I dismiss it. Remember what I said earlier? I said that can be asserted with evidence, can be dismissed without evidence. I don't need to have everything against it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If somebody comes up with a cure for cancer,
sure,
and they say it's worse.
It's what?
And they give a testimony that there's 100 people that have been cured of this cancer. You say, okay, well, I want to see the proof in form that I can.
That's what scientists do. When they find something out, they write down. They show you how they got there.
Do you until that proof is made out, you say, oh, you're imagining.
If I questioned it, I can go look at the material if I wanted to. Unlike your God, there's nothing to look at. There's no material to look at. No.
You're not even listening.
I have listened. You don't think I have because I don't agree with you. And I don't give your sad attempts to try to substantiate your deity any serious consideration. Therefore, you think I'm not listening when I actually am.
I'll give you some leeway on that. I told you there's a guy that if you are interested, his name's John Piper. He died for 90 minutes, had an out-of-body experience.
Yeah. What's he gonna show me? What's that gonna do?
There's a reality.
How is that gonna show me that there's a reality outside of? How is that gonna show me that it wasn't all in his head? How is he gonna show it wasn't all in his head? How is he gonna do that?
90 minutes.
How is he gonna do that?
90 minutes.
What about 90 minutes?
90 minutes, his blood wasn't pumping, his
okay.
brain wasn't getting...
Okay, how is that going to show me that it wasn't all in his brain? Why should I believe his assertions on the afterlife?
Because he saw and he was...
Because he saw, but your brain makes shit up in those instances, and when you're in shock. Your brain makes shit up. So why should I believe in him?
That's your explanation.
If you don't think the brain makes shit up when you're in shock, then you have a problem there, not me. Because your brain does do that.
Have you ever been in shock?
Wait, what?
Have you ever had a mixed-up brain?
Have I ever had a mixed-up brain?
Have you ever had that happen to you?
Where I died?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, then you don't...
I don't need to. I don't need to in order to understand what's going on. Yeah.
There will come a place in your life.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. The seed planting. Let's go.
That you're your experience.
No, but I think most people do like that.
The pay grade will be above your pay grade. Understand?
Yeah, no, that's assuming that your little imaginary friend is true.
I'm sorry.
You're assuming that your little imaginary friend is true. That's why you say that. Yeah, you're assuming you're correct when you say God exists. When you say that, when you make that statement.
My experience gives me evidence otherwise.
Yeah, sorry, but that's not good enough for the rest of us.
That's not good enough for you. I'm sorry.
Well,
there's things that happened in your life that changed you.
yeah, but you don't see me attributing to Peter Pan or something, do you? You don't see me saying Peter Pan's real because something happened and I was reading Peter Pan and something happened to me. Therefore, Peter Pan's real. You don't see me doing that kind of crap.
You don't. I don't go around accusing people that have had an experience that changed their lives.
You can have as many experiences as you want, It doesn't mean that you can sprinkle some extra stuff on
You're
it.
accusing me.
I'm accusing you of being delusional. Either lying or delusional. Because delusional is lying when you don't know that you're lying. So you're either lying or you're delusional. One of those two.
Or maybe I really experienced what I said I experienced.
Well, then you'd have, until you can show that, then we have no reason to think you're
Maybe
accurate.
it doesn't translate into your form of.
Then it's dismissed by any reasonable person.
There's things that aren't.
It should be dismissed.
That, like I said, there's going to be things in your life that you will run into. That won't
I don't need a prophecy anything in my life. Thanks. I'm pretty sure I've been doing this for a while. Okay.
I'm just telling you
All right.
the truth.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're just preaching to me now.
There will be things that will.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Mr. Prophecy. Mr. Prophecy, man. Oh, no, but I've been here many years. From up north, Connecticut. New Englander.
Kind of picked up a little accent on the voice.
What's that?
You still got a little bit of New England.
Yeah, I had to learn to speak a little slower for people down here in the South because they don't like it when people speak fast, so it kind of sucks.
You like to talk.
What?
You like to talk fast.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I've been used to.
Mind I ask you what you're studying?
What's that? Oh no, I finished college a while ago. I still live in Gainesville for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to move. But yeah, by this time next year, I don't expect to be here. Because Gainesville's just okay, but it's just not like great.
You work here?
No, I can work from anywhere. So.
I just wonder why you're hanging out here.
Oh, I hang out here because there's material here, like your material.
Oh, isn't it interesting you're over here talking to us?
Yeah.
There's something that you want to refute here.
Right.
You don't want to go over the Islam guys and refute with them.
I've debated them as well. I mean, I'll debate anybody that has imaginary friends. It doesn't matter whether it's Christian or Islam or the Juju under the sea or Thor or Zeus. It doesn't matter who it is. I debated the Scientologists. I debated everybody. It's just anyone with irrational belief. Islam is even worse because their shit's newer than Christianity, so it's not as tame. So it's just like they're still very full of violence, and
they're more inconsistent with the Quran.
yeah, it's just it needs time to settle down, and I don't like that people like Andrew Tate are trying to support and promote Islam. I think it's going to fail. Just like I think it's failing, just like every other religion out there. I don't think anyone should have any religion. I think all religions should die. I think they're bad for society, and especially Islam with all the crap it does. Because it's more than religion; it's a political system. It tells you how to run a country. So, while people are here trying to promote it, trying for you to latch onto it. Once they have a majority in an area, then they try to enact more and more of it, and it becomes like a fucking little virus.
Yep. Well, that's part of the jihad. That's part of the jihad.
Yeah, it's just bullshit. It's a really shitty religion. I mean, it's bad. Christianity's bad. Scientology's bad. Scientology's become more of a joke ever since the South Park episode that just exposed it pretty bad. So I think that's pretty much dying out. But Islam definitely needs a good push.
can have great ideas about not doing it, but if you suspect that your enemy is doing it, and you're like, all right, well, we can't be far behind. Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, no, I gotta watch my. So I'm down to 200 pounds. I don't want to stay there. I don't think they even will even have a conversation with.
That's the currently like popular one.
If you get into like conceptual awareness and stuff,
I could try. Ted. Hi, buddy. Peace.
So we're having an event tonight. It's called Fastathon. It's just basically free dinner. We're having speakers. If you have any questions about Islam, things like that, we're raising money for Helping Hands to build water wells around the world.
For what?
For Helping Hands to build water wells around the world.
Let me guess. Religion goes with that.
Sorry?
Religion goes with that.
We're part of Islam on campus. So right now it's Ramadan. We're gonna have like the dinner and everything later in the evening. We do this event every single year. This year, like in 2023, it's going to be in the fall, and then this one is for tonight. So you should bring your friends and family, tell everybody about it. There's no catch, like I said, but a donation would be greatly appreciated.
And you advertise religion while people there too, right?
Sorry?
You advertise your religion while people there too.
Well, we have a speaker who's going to have like an Islamic lecture, I think.
There you go.
But you don't have to.
Of course not. Of course not.
Like do anything. If you have any questions, we have a table set up.
So this is basically to recruit people.
No, absolutely not. It's for charity. We're gonna have like a speaker there, but it's not like to convert people. It's mainly for the charity.
Okay.
And I believe we're always tabling here Mondays and Wednesdays. If you ever have any questions, we're gonna have some.
Mondays and Wednesdays. What's today? Today's like Thursday or Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're doing extra because of the event tonight. It's our biggest event of the year.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you have any questions, you can always ask us here, or you can ask us.
What do you guys usually do when you're out here?
We're usually just either spreading information about like the event or about if people have questions about Islam, things like that.
Islam, okay, yeah. That guy got upset over there because I would ask him questions about his beliefs, and he's like, "Why don't you go over here and ask them questions?" So.
Well, some people aren't always as welcoming. I'm not gonna lie about that. But if you come to the Islam on Campus events, we're always very welcoming. Anybody comes. A lot of non-Muslims come to the events too. Fastathon is where we have most of the non-Muslims attend the event. So you're not gonna be like the only non-Muslim there. Most of the people that come to Fastathon are non-Muslim.
Right.
Yeah. So, if you have any questions, we can answer those for you.
Do you think that Islam is a turnoff for this kind of an event? Do you think that maybe? Don't you think maybe you could support the charity without having religion?
I don't think so. Islam on campus, we do like things like this a lot. Maybe you can answer that question.
What's the question? Do you think that religion puts a hamper on what you're trying to do? Like, would it be better to?
Here's the snow cone, sir.
Oh no!
Well, part of the purpose of this banquet is to also explain, teach people more about Islam and and about the charity aspect of it.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily obviously it's all about giving charity and giving back to the community and giving back to people in underserved areas, but it's also about teaching other people about Islam and spreading the message. So that's why we it doesn't necessarily put a hamper on it because it's part of the message.
It's not even it's not like we're trying to convert people. It's just spreading. It's not like recruiting, like what you were saying earlier. It's not really recruiting. Like I said, majority non-Muslims.
The point of it.
Do you think it's good to actually spread Islam?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think the message is
there's a lot of misconceptions.
I think a lot of misconceptions of it, and I think that
I understand it pretty good though. I don't think I have a misconception.
I'm not referring necessarily to you specifically. I mean, a lot of people have a misconception about Islam.
I don't.
I didn't say.
Okay. Just letting you know I don't.
I'm not saying you do.
If you want me to define what it is.
No, I'm not saying you specifically. No, you're all good. I'm just saying specifically, a lot of people in general, and it's fair to say, a lot of people have misconceptions about everything, right? But I think Islam is one of the religions that, because I'm Muslim myself, so, but a lot of people have misconceptions about it, and I think that being able to tell the proper message and the actual what Islam really is compared to what the media portrays.
What is Islam?
Islam is the message of peace. And
message of peace.
Yeah.
What do you see it as?
What do you see it as? Yeah.
What do I see it as?
Yeah.
Well,
we're not gonna get mad if
No,
you say
trust me.
anything.
No, I don't care.
You can say whatever you
I don't tactful my words at all. Well, I mean, a lot of death and destruction motivated by religion, especially Islam. I mean, you look at 9/11, you look at a lot of other things. I mean, you think spreading Islam is good, and you think it has a good message. You think it's about peace, but I mean, if you look at some of the countries controlled by Islam, not exactly peaceful. They especially turn on themselves when they have nothing else to turn on. And then the actual message is that some God chose to exist, and you guys have no idea what it is, or no evidence of one. So
well, for one thing,
so
majority of the
in that so to wrap up, I think it's bad because you try to tell people that a God exists when you don't know what it is and have no evidence of it.
Real talk. Can I ask a question? Like, you don't even have to ask about your religious beliefs.
Sure.
Like not asking like. Well, I just want first to understand like what are your religious beliefs specifically?
I don't have any religious beliefs.
So it is.
I'm without belief in all gods, so yeah, that's an atheist.
Okay, cool.
Well, can I adjust one thing you said? Majority of the Muslims in the West, we don't see for example, Saudi Arabia or like Iran, their governments, we don't see them as depictions of Islam.
But you understand that the Quran actually envelops more than just a religion. It's like a political system, and you follow that system. Yes. And when it taken to its interpretation, it can fall into the same kind of construct in those other countries.
Do you think that those people who follow that construct follow it to the T?
Well, no, because there's no such thing as following something to a T, because religion, like your Quran, like the Bible, they're all open to interpretation, what you read and how you understand it, how you choose to understand it.
Yes, but there's only one true interpretation of how the Quran should be followed.
But there's no way you're going to get everyone to agree with what you say, and there's always going to be religious violence. There's always going to be people who take it too far.
Shouldn't we blame that on the people?
Yeah, that's their religion. Yeah.
You have to blame it on the religion because, and I'll tell you why, even people who don't do violence are to blame, because people who do religious violence, when you take the monarchs, people who don't do anything, they support belief in God without any good evidence, without reason or any good evidence. So it gives people who have religious violence, it gives them a base to act on. It gives them a shield of which to operate behind.
Can I ask a question? Sure. So in communism, and say Marxist Russia, they weren't using religion, right? They banned religion.
Well,
in China, they banned religion. They're so violent, right?
Well, they had a state-based religion.
So no matter what, you're always following something.
Well, you don't have to follow a religion per se.
Okay, so in America, what are we following?
America, we shouldn't be following anyone. We're supposed to be, secular to some degree.
Okay, but where are we getting our laws from?
What?
The Constitution. We got our laws from the Constitution.
Well, we want to live as long as possible, carefree, with freedom. We extend these rights to others in order to live in society.
Well, sure, but where do we get those laws from? Because everyone, again, like you said, interpretations of
I just told you how. That's how we do it. We don't need a holy book and stuff like that.
So what is the Constitution then?
Can you just make your point? Because I don't want to take 20 questions.
So if you're always, no matter what you do, if you follow religion or not, you're following some sort of doctrine. Right?
Okay, I wouldn't say doctrine.
Well, we're following the Constitution. We have a Supreme Court. No matter what, that's the highest law of the land. You have to follow that no matter what, or you get in trouble.
Okay, I wouldn't call it doctrine, but go ahead.
Okay, but some set of laws, for sure.
Sure.
Now the question is, where do the laws come from? It's either man-made,
people,
or we believe it's God-made.
Right, but we don't know what a God is, so we can't say that God did it.
Okay, sure. If you can't say you don't know who God is,
no one can say what a God is.
You have a choice. You have to just choose to believe in a God, or you can choose to believe that there is no God, you can't understand God, and then you have to make your own law.
Or you can just be without a belief in God.
But then what are you following? That's the question. What's your belief?
You continue to follow. See, that's what religion does. It hijacks the morals and ethics of society, and it tries to take credit for them.
It tries to set the morals and ethics
religion didn't create our ethics and morality. We did, and religion grabbed
it from us. That's the problem, though. That's why slavery existed, because we created our own morals and ethics.
What's that?
That's why slavery existed, because we created our own morals and ethics. When humans have control over morals
slavery's
and ethics,
been around for a long ass time.
Exactly, but that doesn't make it right, does it?
No, of course not. No. And I was just telling him that the Bible supports slavery over there. So.
Yeah, but the humans still created. If you keep following everything that humans create, eventually.
Okay, what is your point?
I'm saying is you have to get your laws and morals from somewhere that does not change through time. If you let humans continue.
No, our ethics and moralities keep evolving and getting better.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you have a constant source that tells you this is what's right, this is what's wrong.
Constant force. That's mankind.
No, he's saying what he's saying is that because you're saying that our laws and like our like beliefs and what we follow throughout the time, right, is based on our ethics and morality, right?
Right, that's correct.
Right, and he's saying that it's a dangerous for us to follow based off that because
that's what we follow. It's not dangerous. That's what we do.
Because that's why there's so many. That's why dictators and you have people in.
Right, yeah, because we don't all follow the same rules.
Exactly. So we need someone to follow all those.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
No, we shouldn't be having imaginary friends.
You would rather have God as a dictator or get your laws from humans?
I would rather get it from humans because God is made up and it's people made up God. God is not real. People made it up.
So you believe in like everything which is there and it just happened.
Well, we don't know how everything came to be. But one thing we can know is that there's no reason to believe in a God. So we shouldn't believe in him.
Because there's evidence for him. There's proof for him.
No, there's not.
Prophecies that happen. There's signs.
Prophecies have nothing to do with. I just talked to him about this. Prophecies have nothing to do with a God.
If you read the Quran, you can see that there's things in there that no human would know.
It doesn't matter whether you think no human can know. It doesn't tell you what a God is and how we know one exists.
God tells you who he is. You have no way to know who he is.
How does God tell you what he is?
Through the Quran.
But the Quran is a story about a God. You can't use the same story to justify itself.
It's a story about a God.
Yes. It asserts that there's a God. The Quran says there is a God.
Yeah, but not a story.
You can't use the same story to justify itself.
For sure, but if you keep going through life without ever coming to a certain point that, okay, there is no God, so I'm just not going to believe in God.
No, I'm without believing God. Huh? If I ever say there is no God, I can only say it with as much certainty as I say there is no Tinkerbell or Tooth Fairy. Right? I don't know there's no Tinkerbell.
But you can also make the same assertion that there is a God. Why do you choose to believe that there is no God when you can just say...
I'm without belief because there's no good evidence to support one. There's no definition or good evidence to support one.
There was no evidence to support that the sun was at the center of the universe before Copernicus and all those people. But did that make them right?
There's no what? What's that again?
There was no evidence to support that cells existed, that atoms existed, that the sun was at the center of the universe before the scientists
You can't use our
right?
ignorance to substantiate your God.
That's exactly what it is. If you're ignorant that you don't know God is there, by the same analogy...
If I don't know how everything came to be, I can say I don't know, and that's honest, and that's okay. But it doesn't mean you can take your God and inject it just because I have ignorance on how... Just because we all have ignorance on how everything came to be. You can't inject your God and say, you don't know, therefore God did. That's irrational.
Constantly investigating. Like, you have to either say, you have to investigate if there is God, if there isn't God. So that's why
we have to wait for the person with a positive assertion, thus saying the person saying there is a God, to show evidence. They have the burden of proof.
But there isn't.
There's no. But you just said prophecy, and that's not evidence.
Can I ask? Are you referring to empirical evidence?
Okay, if I predict who's going to win the lottery this Saturday.
If you predict who's going to win the lottery in 100 years, an exact time...
It doesn't matter. If I say someone's going to win the lottery this Saturday, and I wrote in the book I wrote that Tinkerbell is real, and that person wins the lottery, does that mean Tinkerbell is real?
If you write a book and 90% of it is true and cannot be disproven,
right. That's going to be the bulk of my writing. That'll make
doesn't mean that it's not true.
How can you disprove it?
If you can't disprove it, then I don't know that that's exactly reliable. If it's like, I don't know. I view both religion and atheism with like, some of it's good, some of it's bad, but like, I don't know, personally I'm agnostic.
Well, you're still atheist or theist, one or the other. Agnostic is just a modifier added to either one of them.
No, I don't know.
You either believe in something or you're without belief in that thing. You're not neither and you're not both. You're always one or the other.
I don't know. That's the thing.
Right. If you don't know, that means you don't believe, which means you're an atheist.
Doesn't mean
Yes.
Well, it doesn't mean it means an equal, like,
No.
skepticism.
No.
It means
if you can't say you believe in a God, you're an atheist. That's the way it is.
I'm trying in a God without having a religion.
Of course you can, but it's still a religious belief. I don't see what that has to do with it.
I'm saying more skeptical.
Agnostic has to do with knowledge. You say something's unknown or unknowable. That could be.
Wait, can I ask, because you talked about the fact that there's no evidence in general.
There's no definition of a God or any scientific good evidence to support it.
What do you think? Good evidence? Wait. Define good evidence. Are you talking about empirical evidence?
Anything that can show that there's a God that can be testable.
I don't know if
so like face to face, I gotta see it to believe everything.
I didn't say face to face. I said testable evidence.
So you want to see? You want to see it down and give.
I didn't say just see. I said testable evidence.
But like define that. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I can't tell you what the evidence is. You need to produce it.
No, I'm not saying you have to show me what evidence. I'm saying like
testable scientific evidence. That's what I'm saying.
bunch of
So God actually mentioned that in the Quran.
What's that?
People in the past, they asked the same thing, that bring me a miracle, bring me evidence. If you can't prove God, why should I believe in it? And it gives the answer, exact answer what they said. The answer is that even if I brought the angels to you, even if I crumbled the heavens, even if I did everything for you, you still would not believe. You would call it magic, you would call it science, you would find some way to deny belief in it. That's happened in the past,
we have to know what this God is and how we know it exists.
Even if you see God, you'll say it's magic. It's
You don't know that.
Try finding
If God is all powerful, it can make me believe.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Why am I an
Why
atheist
would
then?
you deserve heaven if God's forcing you to believe?
Why are you the arbiter of rules of what it can or will or won't do?
That's what God is.
Well, you don't know that. You're just going by a story. You don't have any evidence for that.
We do have it.
You don't have any reason to believe what you're saying.
Why don't you Google it when you go home? Search up evidence of God.
I've been doing this longer than you
Can I
have.
ask if you've ever read the Quran?
What's that?
Have you ever read the Quran?
Not completely, but I have.
Okay,
Respectfully though, I don't like the idea, or I don't like the way that you talked about how the fact that you said it's the reason why things okay, it's like if I read a book and the book says okay, the sky is green, right? And then I start believing it's green. That okay, yes, the book said it, or okay, well that's very terrible. That's not what I'm trying to say. If the book says something along the lines and you can interpret it in a different way, you can't necessarily blame it on the book. That's my whole point. That's the one thing I just want to take away with this is that you can't necessarily relate Islam and then danger or Islam on or any violence that happens in the Middle East.
I did relate it. I told you how to relate it.
It's not a fair relation. That's my point.
Of course it's a fair relation.
Is that saying America's bad capitalism?
People who go around who don't do violence but believe in a God are a shield for the people who do violence. They're telling people that it's okay to believe without any good reason to believe.
But then you should believe the people.
There's no good reason to believe in any God. You can't even tell me what it is.
What is what?
A God. What is it?
I told you what God is. An all-powerful being.
You can't define something. What being do you know of is all powerful?
That's the whole point.
Exactly.
There can be more than one being that's
You
all
can't
powerful.
define something by what you think it can do. That's not telling me what it is.
We just told you what it is.
No, you didn't.
A God will not come down to the human level and tell you exactly what it is.
How do you know what it can do? You didn't even know what it is. You didn't even know what it is.
He describes it to you. We don't know exactly. We don't know what it is. That's why he revealed the book that tells us.
You don't
exactly
even know
what
that a God had anything to do with your book.
Huh?
You don't even know that God had anything to do with your book. You don't know that God had anything to do with that writing that book. All you know is people wrote that book.
No, it was revealed to a prophet, and there's evidence for
No,
that.
there's no evidence that any God had anything to do with that book.
There's well-orated evidence that showed exactly what the revelation is about. There's descriptions of what the Quran is. There's stories about how people
You're
react
still
to
that
the
definition of a God and evidence of one.
Evidence of God won't be there. If you choose to believe or you don't choose to believe, that's up to you. That's why it's a test.
You don't actually choose to believe. Belief is not a conscious
decision.
decision. No, belief is based on your education of something. It's done subconsciously.
That's why you study the Quran. That's why you study religion.
It's based on what you've heard.
The Quran is not going to give you evidence of a God. It's not going to tell you what one is.
Yeah, it is.
No.
So you got to read. That's what the whole thing is about. It's about who God is.
No, it's not.
He describes it in
I just
four
asked you
simple
what it is.
verses.
You gave me a bunch of word salad there. All powerful. Like, what is that? How does it tell me anything about a God? What do I know of that's all powerful?
That's the whole point.
The whole point is you don't know what you're talking about.
Only one being can be all powerful. That's who God is.
Wait, how do we know
God came down
that?
and
How do we
showed
know that?
something
How do we know God can be all powerful?
Because He has control over everything.
How do we know that?
Because there's a book that's
Why should we believe what the book says?
Because it's unparalleled.
Why should we believe what the book says?
Because it's unparalleled. No one has ever written anything like it.
Why should we believe in it?
It has been unchanged in 1,400 years. There's evidences of the Quran that
Why should we believe in it?
What did I just tell you?
You think because we can, so if I wrote a book just like that,
you can try reading a book. In fact, it says that.
Why does how it's
bring me a
written?
book just
How
like
does
it.
that show a God exists?
Because the language is so exquisite, it's a miracle in it.
How does that show a God exists?
Because only a God can reveal something.
How do you
like
know
that.
only God can do that?
Because no human has ever been able to. No
How do you know a God did it though?
Who else would do it if it's not a human?
But exactly,
Say it's
that's
not a
called
God.
the argument of
Say
ignorance.
it's not a God. Say
Because
it's
we
not a
don't know, you want to say go, since you don't know God did it. That's called the argument. It's a fallacy. It's the argument of ignorance.
But by saying you're never going to believe in a God until you can understand
Exactly.
Him completely,
No one should believe in
you're
any
trapping
God
yourself.
unless we know what it is and it shows to exist.
You're trapping yourself.
No, it's called
What if you're
using
wrong?
logic and reason
What if you're
and being
wrong?
reasonable.
Hold on. What if in 100 years they discover who God is?
Well, in 100 years we'll worry about it. Not now, will we?
But you're going to be dead. We're all going to be dead. So then what?
Doesn't matter.
You just go to hell
So
then?
we should not believe now until we have reason to believe.
What if you die before that point?
It doesn't matter. What does it matter whether we die or not? What does that do with anything?
Okay, so say God's true. Then what happens next? Just heaven and hell, right?
Well, why should I believe there's life after death?
Say in 100 years God becomes true. Then
Wait,
what?
what?
Say in 100 years God's true.
Why?
And, for me, it's funny because almost everything you're saying is already in the Quran. It's literally word for word that this is what people say, and this is the response.
Yeah, but that doesn't help your argument though.
Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does not. But
No, it doesn't.
for me, that gives me even more faith because if the Quran was made up, that definitely wouldn't be in there. It wouldn't be almost word for word what people
No,
over
I'm
time
pretty
have been
sure
saying.
people who write a book that want other people to believe in it, they're going to listen to all the arguments they can have against it, put it in there, and say, well, they're going to say this, they're going to say that, as a means to help support their argument. So of
People have
course they're
tried
going to
and
put that
failed.
in the Quran.
People have tried and failed.
Try to sell what?
If it was so easy, there would be a million other religions, but there's not.
But there's tons of other religions.
Not that many.
Tons.
Not that many.
There's thousands of religions.
Real established religions.
As big as
It doesn't matter whether they're established or not. There's thousands of different deities out there.
But how many of them have a billion followers? How many of them have?
It doesn't matter how popular it is. It matters whether you can show it to be true or not.
But like at a certain point, like okay, you know what? At a certain point, okay, the whole argument comes down to whether or not like we can prove God in an empirical way for you, right? That's what
You gotta have a good definition of it first, and then show scientific evidence.
Okay. For scientific evidence part, right? Like regardless of what we do, at the end of the day, we can't really show you scientific evidence.
Right. So then why I'm reasonable for not believing?
Right. I'm not like trying to make you like he's atheist, whatever. I'm not trying to say anything like that. Like at the end of the day, like you said, to each their own, right? It's everyone's beliefs, right? Or everyone's like thing. But all I'm gonna say though is that like at the end of the day, it's like. There's no scientific evidence to show you. What we can, all we can say is, this is if 90%, like you said, 90% of the book is 100% true, tells the truth, and the things there.
Before you leave, I actually gotta go. But can I tell you what our definition of God is?
Go, I'd love to hear it.
For a simple line.
Yeah. Just don't use those weird words.
Say God is one. Allahu Samad.
God is what?
God is one.
One? What does that mean?
He has no partners.
As in, like he's not there's nothing associated with him. It's just God, and that's it.
That doesn't tell me anything about a God. But go ahead.
Allahu Samad, the God, the everlasting, the ever-sustaining.
I don't know if anything's everlasting.
Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He is neither born nor did he give birth to anyone. Wa lam yakul lahu
Okay,
kufuwan ahad.
that doesn't tell me what it is.
None
of those things told me what it is.
It told you.
What is it made of? What's it look like? Where does it live? How is it able to do the things it does?
You don't need to know.
Well, then we don't know what exists, do we? We don't know what it is, so we don't know what exists. Like, we need to have reasons to believe that these things are true.
Okay.
We need to have a certain definition of it.
Fair enough. So would you like to finish reading this one?
No, thank you.
Understandable. Are you coming to the room?
All right, guys. Peace.
Have a good one.
You happy now?
I'm out.
Oh my God, this is one hell of a long ass video. Come on, buddy. Alright, guys. So, it's true I haven't been debating the Muslims for very much. So I decided to give him a shot. You're like, why don't you go question that? I'm like, sure, man, I have no problem. Question anybody.
I'll tell you what God is. He's all powerful.
What the hell? What the hell does that mean? All powerful. Oh my God, I really don't want to edit this shit. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. The file size is going to be huge. I need to learn how to use Premiere to shorten this crap. Oh my God, these are like multiple file lengths. Guys, that's a crosswalk, guys. You guys enjoyed